Coming up on This Week, ever want to be a private eye? A new course at LSU Eunice teaches you how. Registration is right around the corner. We'll tell you what you need to know. And our Instagram challenge is still underway. Hi, I'm Darian, and welcome to This Week at LSU Eunice. Ever watch a private investigator on TV or in a movie and wish you could be one? Alexis takes a look at a new opportunity on campus.
This is what one usually thinks of when the word private investigator is mentioned. Hollywood has painted that picture for us, but Kirk Menard, the instructor of LSU Eunice Continuing Education's 40-hour private investigator course, says Hollywood gets it wrong.
Hollywood has really given us a bad reputation as far as the old gumshoe detective shows and what have you. So, I decided to teach the private investigation course to bring integrity back into the industry and show them that, what you see in Hollywood isn't really the way we are. There's more to being a private investigator than what you see in Hollywood, a lot more. Sometimes it's more exciting, sometimes it's a lot more boring.
Menard, owner of his own private investigation firm in Crowley, is offering the course for the first time here at LSU Eunice.
In this class, we teach the private investigation statutes, the rules and regulations. We teach constitutional law, we teach civil law, we teach criminal statutes. And not just as it relates to private investigators, but as it relates to the general public in general.
Students are getting the information they need to become a licensed private investigator in the state of Louisiana and are enjoying the skills they are learning.
Having to put the puzzle together, like where, it, like you say, it's not always what it seems. It's just, you have to put it together. Figuring out, it's like a mystery.
Because in these classes, it's highly confidential, or I teach them a lot of confidential stuff, like tips and tricks of tapping phones, how to listen in on phone conversations, how to track vehicles, how to conduct surveillance. But I also tell them about the federal wiretapping law to make sure they don't, it's good to have that knowledge, but it's also good not to step over that line.
The class meets 2 weekends a semester, and at the end of the class, students must pass an exam to get a certificate of completion. That certificate makes them eligible to apply for a PI license. For more information on the 40-hour private investigators course, please contact Continuing Education at 550-1390 or visit them on their website.
Thanks, Alexis. We're still looking to give away a camouflage shirt with our Instagram challenge. Follow LSU Eunice on Instagram and take a few pictures of your favorite place to relax or study on campus. Hashtag them Bayou Bengal Contest and we'll pick our favorites and a winner for next week. Here are a few of our favorite LSU Eunice tagged photos on Instagram right now. The External Affairs Task Force of LSU's Transition Advisory Team met Wednesday. The task force is part of the LSU 2015 process for the reorganization of LSU. The External Affairs Task Force is reviewing policy communication, coordination, and branding by focusing on governmental relations, message development and marketing, and production functions. The Student Experience Subcommittee met Thursday, and the Administrative Series Task Force met Friday. David Siggy, tribal member of the Coshada Tribe of Louisiana, visited campus this month to present a check to the student leaders who volunteered their time at 2 recent tribe events. Siggy and the Coshada Tribe helped sponsor the student leaders' upcoming trip to the National Association for the Promotion of Campus Activities Conference in Atlanta next week. Now, let's take a look at next week's calendar of events. The Campus Activities Board hosted their 5th annual talent show. Let's take a look at some of the acts that graced the stage.
This land is your land. This
Albert Johnson won the talent show with his Christian rap. Michael Martin, who edited Louisiana Legacy's Readings in the History of the Pelican State, spoke in the Louisiana room of the Ladue Library about putting together his new book.
So forth. But Janet and I got to talking about all this other great stuff that has been written about Louisiana's history over the past even 60 years or so. Stuff that can complement that textbook, but also complicate that textbook, right? So make the story a little more complicated than it appears to be. How do you complicate history? Well, you talk about groups of people who are usually left out of history. You know, nowadays it's pretty common to see African Americans in textbooks and women in textbooks, but still there's a lot to be said about various groups like women, African Americans, a lot to be said about time periods that are quite often glossed over in Louisiana's history. You know, we tend to think of Louisiana's colonial history as being kind of French for the most part. Well, the Spanish were here for a long time too. In some ways, they had a much more influential regime than the French did. So we started thinking about that, and then we said, you know, there's a lot that's going on today in Louisiana that we can trace back to its historical kind of foundations. And wouldn't it be cool if we had something that we could give our students to read that would not only show what's going on around them today and its connections to the past, but also would take what they're reading in their textbooks or hearing in their lectures and make it more complicated, more complex, because real life is complex, it's complicated. It's not a single unified story. And so that was the genesis of this
Now
book.
let's join Matthew for a look at sports.
The Lady Bengals softball team broke the school record for consecutive wins this weekend in tournament play in Florida. The girls extended their win streak to 22 games before Shelton State ended it with a 6-5 victory the last day of the tournament. The girls finished the tournament 5-1 and improved to 27-3 on the season. They are ranked 4th in the nation behind Phoenix College, Parkland College, and Cowley County Community College, all the teams that they faced in last year's national tournament. Sophomore Kelsey Ollier leads the nation in runs batted in with 41. Baseball inched ahead of Western Oklahoma State on the top spot in Division II. LSU Eunice took over first place in the recent NJCAA poll. Western Oklahoma, Scottsdale Community College, Des Moines Area Community College, and Heartland Community College round out the top 5. The Bengals have 2 players atop the national stat categories. Brady Domain leads the nation in wins with 6, while Casey Rodriguez's 22 stolen bases have him leading the nation. He's 1 stolen base ahead of teammate Landon Thibodeau. Rodriguez was named the NJCAA Division II Player of the Week last week. Rodriguez boasted a .583 batting average, driving home 7 runs and scoring 4 of his own to help sweep Kellogg Community College. The Lady Bengal basketball team will host a prospect camp for all unsigned girl basketball players who feel that they have the ability to play college ball. This is an opportunity for all players to show the coaching staff their skills and possibly be signed to play for the Lady Bengals. The camp is March 30th at noon. Information can be found under the Camps tab on LSUEBengals.net. That's it for sports. Back to you, Darian.
Thanks, Matthew. Early registration begins March 18th for the spring intersession, summer, and fall semesters. There is a registration priority schedule based on the credit hours a student has earned, plus the hours in which the student is currently enrolled. This means if you only have 12 hours of credit overall and are enrolled in 12 hours this semester, you won't be able to register until Thursday, March 21st. All the important dates, registration guidelines, and policies, and the new academic calendar can be found in the registration guide. There is a guide for each semester. Please check out these guides for information before registering for classes. A link to these guides can be found on the university's homepage. That's it for this week at LSU Eunice. We'll be back next week with another look at what's happening on campus.